Fatiha. السلام عليكم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد سيد الأولين والآخرين. مدد يا رسول الله، مدد يا سادة أصحاب رسول الله، مدد يا مشاهد دستور مولانا شاء الله فازد حسن شاء محمد الحقاني. طريقتنا الصحبة والخير في الجميع. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الأرض لله يورثها ما شاء. صدق الله العظيم. Yeryüzü bütün kainat Allah Azze ve Celle'nindir.
The earth, this world, the entire universe, everything, the entire creation belongs to Allah Almighty and is part of Allah Almighty's dominion.
Yeryüzü için diyor bu Allah Azze ve Celle'nin mülküdür.
And for about this world, this earth, Allah Almighty says that it is part of His dominion.
İstediğine verir.
And He may give rulership of this world to whoever He likes.
O insanlar, yeryüzünde yaşayanlar zannetmesin ki o şeyin kendilerinin.
People who live on the surface of this world must not think that they are the owners of this world.
Kalacak.
And they must not be mistaken by thinking that it will belong to them forever.
Her şey gidecek.
Nothing will remain forever with them.
Kimse kalmaz. Yani bu
They will leave everything behind in the end.
Mal, mülk, arazi, ev, saray filan.
Whether it's property, possessions, belonging, land, palaces.
Hiçbir şey alamaz insan.
In the end, you will leave everything behind, and you will not be able to take it with you to the hereafter.
Arkasında hiçbir şey bırakmaz. Bırakırsa başkaları alır.
Nothing will be yours forever, and in the end, you will leave everything behind, and then there will come others who will then own what you once owned.
Yani o Allah Azze ve Celle'nin insanlara bunu vermiş. İnsanlar zannediyor ki dünya benim.
Therefore, we must be aware that it is Him, Allah Almighty, who is the owner of everything, and it is Him who decides what to give to whom.
Bu mülk benim, şey benim. Gözü kapattı mı gider, bir şey kalmaz.
People think that this belongs to me, this is mine, I'm the owner, but the moment they close their eyes, everything is gone.
Onun için bazen insan bakıyor, ecdat bize bu şeyi bıraktı, bu kadar Allah rızası için memleketler bıraktı, cihad etti, Müslüman yaptı.
We look at our ancestors, and they fought in the way of Allah Almighty, and they struggled in the way of Allah Almighty in order to spread Islam, make people become Muslims across different countries and lands, and they have made us to inherit this.
Bakıyorsun ki orada küfür var, şey var. O mühim değil, mühim olan.
And we look around at those places which we inherited from them, that there is now disbelief.
Allah Azze ve Celle'nin kim istediğini, kimi koyacaksa Allah Azze ve Celle o yere insanları koyuyor.
But it is Him, Allah Almighty, who puts people wherever He likes.
Onun için Müslüman olan yerler muhakkak sahipleri Allah Azze ve Celle iyi insanlar koyar.
And in Muslim places, we must know that Allah Almighty will put in those places good people.
Kötü varsa onları da süpürüp götürür.
And if there are bad people, Allah Almighty will sweep them away from those Muslim places.
Bazı yerler ecdad şehit olmuş, kanlarını dökmüşler.
Our ancestors, they fought for the cause of Allah Almighty and they died, became martyrs and shed their blood.
Orası İslam olsun diye.
And they fought in order to make these places to become Muslim.
Ondan sonra arkadan gelen kafir değil de kendi neslinden gelen, sülalesinden gelen insanlar Müslüman gibi ama
And those who came after our ancestors, they were not disbelievers. They were people from among them. They were people who claimed to be Muslims.
Müslümanlık hiç alakası kalmamış.
But they did not have anything to do with Islam anymore.
İnsanlıkla da alakası kalmamış.
In fact, those people who followed had nothing to do with humanity anymore.
Sırf nefsi peşinde, nefsi üstüne binmiş.
Those who came after our ancestors were people who are only interested in following their egos and who are ridden by their egos.
Koşturuyor. Nerede nefsini tatmin edecek şey varsa onun peşinden koşturuyor Allah Azze.
And those people who followed, they only look for things that can satisfy their egos and run after those things.
Unutmuş, dini unutmuş.
They have forgotten about Allah Almighty and the religion.
Her şeyi unutmuş. Ondan sonra da
and they have forgotten about everything.
Hayır edecek.
And they think that with their lifestyle they are going to be obtaining something good.
Allah onları alır, yerlerine iyi insanlar koyar.
But it is Him, Allah Almighty, who may replace them and put in their place good people.
Onun için insanoğlu düşünmesi lazım ki ben bu dünyada boş boşuna yaşayıp böyle kötülük yapacağıma.
People must be aware that they have not been created for nothing and that they are not in this world for no reason. And they must be aware that they are not in this world to do bad things.
Allah Azze ve Celle'den korkması lazım ki
they must become aware that they must be aware of their Lord Allah Almighty.
Onların yerine daha iyi insanlar getirecek de Allah Azze ve Celle.
And people must know that Him, Allah Almighty, may easily replace them with good people.
İman edenler insanlar getirir.
Allah Almighty may replace them with people who believe in Him.
Bu mühimdir. Bütün Müslümanlar şeytanın peşinde koşmaya başladı.
This is very important to know. When you look at all Muslims now, you see that they have started to run after shaitan.
Çok Müslüman 1 milyar derler, 2 milyar derler ama kıymeti yok.
The quantity of the Muslims is enormous. They say 1 billion, 2 billion, but their numbers have no value.
Ne için? Çünkü nefislerin peşinden.
And why is that? Because they run after their egos.
Müslüman gözükse bile yine en ufak bir şeyde nefsine uyar.
Even if they appear to be Muslim and look like a Muslim, when there is the slightest opportunity, they run after their egos.
Nefsinin istediğini yapar.
And if there's the slightest chance, they do what their ego desires.
Allah muhafaza etsin.
May Allah Almighty protect us.
Bizi nefsimizin şerrinden muhafaza etsin ki
May Allah Almighty protect us from the evil of our egos.
Bu ecdadımızın emaneti bizdedir. Onlara
We must know that what we've inherited is what our ancestors have lived for, and we have now inherited that sacred trust.
En iyi hediyeler Allah yolunda olmamızdır.
And in order to live up to that sacred trust is to follow the way of Allah Almighty. That is the greatest gift we can give back to our ancestors,
Allah yolunda olmasak onların da sana bir faydası olmaz.
and if we don't live and don't follow the way of Allah Almighty, then we must know that we cannot expect blessings and no benefit from our ancestors. They cannot help us then.
Sana yardım etmezler.
And they cannot support us or help us if we do not follow the way of Allah Almighty.
Allah yardım etsin hepimize.
May Allah Almighty help us all.
İslam alemi sahip göndersin Allah Azze ve Celle.
May Allah Almighty send the owner of the Muslim world.
İnşallah. Amin. Allah tevfik. El Fatiha.